Summary of A Wagner Matinee by Willa Cather. Clark, who resides in Boston, gets news by his Uncle Howard that his Aunt Georgiana is going to travel all the way from rural Nebraska to pay him a visit. In fact, she will be arriving the day after tomorrow. Clark hasn't seen Georgiana since he was young, but it doesn't take him long to remember learning music with her. The next day, Georgiana shows up at the train station dirty and lost, and Clark is shocked by how old she looks. He says that Georgiana used to teach music at the Boston Conservatory when she was younger. But one summer, she met Howard in Vermont and ran away with him to the Nebraska border. They set up a claim 50 miles from the train in Red Willow County and built a simple dugout. At least 30 years had passed since Georgiana had been away from Nebraska. Clark spent a lot of his childhood on the farm his aunt and uncle owned. He owes most of the good things that happened to him as a child to Aunt Georgiana. He worked on the farm all day and then studied Latin, literature, and music while his aunt did chores and praised him. Now Clark wants to show her appreciation by taking her to the symphony's Wagner event. But Georgiana still seems distant the next day, because she is busy with problems back on the farm. Clark is afraid that the matinee was a bad idea and that his aunt will feel bad about going back to a more formal setting. When they get to the concert, though, he sees he was wrong about her. She walks with respect, and the sights and sounds of the music hall quickly grab her attention. Clark doesn't understand Georgiana's reactions as the show starts, and he wonders if she can connect with the music since she hasn't been exposed to high culture in a long time. At some point, he sees that she is crying and realizes that her soul, which has been through so much, is still the same underneath her shockingly different exterior. Georgiana is crying by the end of the show, and she begs Clark, "I don't want to go." Clark knows that Georgiana has nothing else to look forward to besides the dull homestead other than the music hall.
About the author. Cather was born in 1873 on her maternal grandmother's Back Creek Valley farm near Winchester, Virginia. Cather's family moved to Webster County, Nebraska, near the town of Red Cloud, when she was 9 years old. Cather's move from Northern Virginia to the Wild Plains had a big impact on her as a child and continued to have an impact on her as an adult. She spent time traveling the country as a child and listening to the stories of other pioneers, many of whom were newcomers. After high school, Cather went to the University of Nebraska in Lincoln to become a doctor. However, after one of her essays was published in the newspaper, she changed her mind and chose to become a writer instead. She taught, wrote, and built her career as a journalist in Pittsburgh for 10 years after finishing in 1895. In 1906, she got a big break in her writing career when she became an editor for the famous New York magazine McClure's. After making literary friends and ties for a long time, Cather's most productive years were the 1910s, when she wrote her Prairie Trilogy, which included O Pioneers! 1913, The Song of the Lark, 1915, and My Antonia, 1918. She got the Pulitzer Prize in 1923 for her book One of Ours, which was about the First World War. Cather became a famous American author in the 1920s, writing historical novels like Death Comes for the Archbishop, 1928, and the best-selling Shadows on the Rock, 1931. She won a lot of awards, including honorary degrees from Princeton and Yale. Modernist writers like F. Scott Fitzgerald were affected by her ideas. Cather never got married. She lived with editor Edith Lewis for almost 40 years and had a number of close female friends during her lifetime. Cather spent her later years living in both New York City and a house in the middle of nowhere in New Brunswick. She was 73 years old when she died in Manhattan.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.